Full disclosure, Dr. Wolfula was provided a free copy of the film reviewed in this video.
Greetings, I'm your host, Felix Donovan, but please call me Dr. Wolfula. The sordid days when I went by the name Felix Donovan are long behind me. Anyway, I watched a movie, so that means I'm obligated to review it. The film in question is Crimson Peak, a supernatural, gothic, mystery romance film with a bit of horror thrown in. Crimson Peak is a genre cocktail. The director and co-writer of the film should be familiar to yous guys. Guillermo Del Toro, a man with a cool house. Oh, also a prolific filmmaker known for his striking art design and visuals. But man, that house. Oh boy, what I wouldn't give to live there. Alright, let's talk about the movie. What's the story of Crimson Peak? Well, this is the story all about how Edith's life got turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, take less than a week. I'm gonna tell you how she became the Baroness of Crimson Peak. In Victorian Buffalo, born and raised, writing ghost stories how she spent most of her days. Okay, I'm not doing the whole fucking song. So, Crimson Peak is about Edith Cushing. Wait a second, Cushing? Pretty sneaky, sis. Edith is a troubled writer for two reasons. One, she's one of them lady writers in Victorian times, which sucks, I guess. And two, after her mother died, the lady came back as a ghost, and not one of those friendly ghosts that you read about in the comics. No, Ma comes back as one of those fog skull ghosts that have no concept of personal space. The ghost cryptically warns her daughter about something called Crimson Peak.
Beware of Crimson Peak.
Honestly, you didn't need to come back as a traumatizing specter just to give a little girl some simple info, but ghosts are always overly dramatic. I get it, ghosts, you're dead and nobody understands what you're going through. Cut your wrists, why don't you? So, Edith is trying to get published, but she has lady parts, so that's unlikely. Meanwhile, a baronet arrives in Buffalo to court Edith's father for investments, Sir Thomas Sharp, played by that Loki dude who always looks like a disappointed child on Christmas.
I have absolutely no doubt this machine will revolutionize clay mining as we know it.
Turn it off, please.
Mr. Cushing refuses to invest in the clay mining machine only because the baronet is kind of a pussy. The baronet and his sister still hang out in Buffalo for a bit, and they're pretty much the turn-of-the-century version of goth kids.
It's a savage world of things dying or eating each other right beneath our feet.
Surely there's more to it than that.
Beautiful things are fragile.
Sharp puts the moves on Edith, and she starts making eyes at him as well. The young local doc who's yoked isn't so happy about Edith's new interest in another man, but in Edith's defense, this guy doesn't look constantly in a bad mood. Women love men who look like they would be upset petting a puppy. Without spoiling too much, one thing leads to another, and Edith winds up married to Sharp and heading to his awesome mansion back in jolly old England. Well, okay, it could use a woman's touch. Well, there was already a woman living here. I guess she's just lazy. I mean, just look at her. She's a mess. Happily ever after, though, in Edith's new trailer trash gothic mansion, right? Wrong. Why would you even assume that? God, you're dumb as hell. No, Edith discovers that the estate is named Crimson Peak.
That's what they call it. The ore and the red clay leach up from the ground and stay in the snow. Turns a bright red. So, Crimson Peak.
You know, the place she was supposed to avoid? She's screwed, especially since there's a bunch of ghosts wandering around the place. I don't know, between the ghosts, the weird sexual tension between Loki and his sister, and the red clay that looks like blood, I would have considered leaving. I would have considered it, but in this economy and with the housing market and all, I don't know. It's a complicated situation to walk out on. I'd need a few weeks to sleep on it, honestly. I'd need to try out the pool first, at least. Crimson Peak doesn't have that great of a story. The flick is a bit cliche, and some of the plot points are predictable, and, you know, there are some boring stretches, but you know what? Even if the plot is weak, some of the predictable stuff plays out in pretty sick, entertaining ways. The characters are a bit bland, but the time period is kind of to blame for that.
And I desperately need your help.
My help with what?
Miss Cushing, the language for one thing. As you can plainly see, I do not speak a word of American.
The only really interesting character to me is Jessica Chastain as Lucille, the weirdo older sister of the baronet.
I like to think she can see us from up there. I don't want her to miss a single thing we do.
Chastain steals the show towards the end, and the Loki guy, well, for you ladies and guys that dig this weirdo, you get to see his ass. Not the best visual for me, but besides that, there are actually some pretty visuals in Crimson Peak. Of course, it's Guillermo Del Toro directing the movie. He's not gonna get in that chair and not make some kind of weird thing with no eyes or whatever. Crimson Peak has the gory-looking ghost as its weird thing. Some of these ghosts are played by Doug Jones, and they all look... what's the word I'm looking for? Boss. Here's the thing, though. The ghosts aren't really that important. Crimson Peak is not a ghost movie. It's a movie that has ghosts in it. The ghosts are few and far between, and they're mostly used as a plot device. This is fine, but honestly, the ghosts upstage the rest of the movie. Do I really want to watch a bunch of scenes of Edith's and the Baronet's lack of chemistry? Or do I want to see some more fucked up ghosts? I don't know about you, but for me, you can never have too many fucked up ghosts in your movie. Speaking of fucked up things, Crimson Peak is surprisingly violent. I had no idea that the movie was R-rated until the first murder happens 40 minutes into the flick. I would have thought it was a G movie up until that point. The gore isn't overused, of course, but man, it looks good, and also very painful. There's a lot of moments in the movie that are hard to watch because they look like they really fucking hurt. Oh yeah, one more thing to add. The set design of Crimson Peak is phenomenal. The estate looks so insanely detailed and creepy. It's a beautifully ugly place. At the same time, the estate looks a bit too, extremely messed up. Like, it's probably not very comfortable living here, and anyone in their right mind would probably head out at the first sign of mildew. Forget about the ghosts. Okay, Crimson Peak is a flawed but entertaining flick. It mostly just has visuals going for it, but those are pretty nice. The story is a bit on the weak side, the characters aren't really memorable, and there are stretches in the 2-hour runtime where things just get boring. The ghosts look great though, and when things start to heat up, Crimson Peak becomes a very suspenseful movie. I give Crimson Peak a Loki's ass out of whatever the hell a baronet is. Anyways, see you guys later. Got some clay mining to do.